welcome to the DSR Daily. I'm David Rothkopf. I'm joined by Riley Fessler. Hi, Riley. How are you?
Pretty good.
And Minna Stein. How are you, Minna?
I'm feeling fantastic because we have early voting in Virginia, and yesterday I went out and I voted, and I got my I voted sticker and my Harris Walls sticker. So
it's good news. It's great. I'm glad that you voted. I'm a little concerned that people who are so young that they're thrilled by stickers are voting.
I asked specifically for the sticker.
It's always nice. Always nice to have a sticker. My wife doesn't like to go to another country without getting her passport stamped. She wants to have some hard evidence, and a lot of countries don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
You know, it's all
That's disappointing.
It's a lot of electronic. Sometimes it's retinal. It's one country. You know, it's so it's hard. So you got to get your stickers while you can, and
Exactly.
voting early. Excellent move, Minna. Riley, I'll just pick you at random. Why don't you start us off with a story here?
Well, following yesterday's story, we now know what Eric Adams has been charged with, and that is accepting illegal campaign contributions and luxury travel from Turkish nationals in exchange for political favors, according to the 57-page indictment released by U.S. prosecutors. The alleged scheme, dating back to 2014, involves Adams receiving free stays at luxury hotels and expensive meals in return for using his influence to advance the interests of Turkey, including pressuring city officials to approve the opening of a new Turkish consulate. Adams, who faces 5 criminal charges, denies wrongdoing and plans to fight the case in court. The charges come amid political turmoil in New York City, where several top officials have resigned, and the case threatens to impact Adams' re-election chances in 2025. Certainly, if he even lasts that long.
Yeah, well, I think you've nailed it right there. That's what people are going to look for. Will he make it to re-election? He certainly seems like he's going to try to tough it out, proclaim his innocence. But a little birdie told me that this is the tip of the iceberg and there may be other indictments coming on other fronts. I'm not sure that if there are, he will be able to withstand that. And so now we've got a lot of talk about, who's going to replace him. If he has to resign, there would temporarily be replaced by somebody who's in the city, structure already. But then there would have to be a special election, and one of the people whose name keeps coming up as a potential candidate is another disgraced New York politician, Andrew Cuomo, who apparently thinks, the people of New York, they don't care about my sexual abuse assertions, harassment scandal. They'll elect me. They'll get over it. That's not going to happen either, folks. Andrew Cuomo's not going to be the next mayor of New York, even though New York has a history of picking really bad mayors. But it'll be interesting to see how long Adams survives. In the meantime, he's been a pretty crappy mayor from a governance perspective, and the one thing that I can say for certain is that's going to get worse because he is going to be heavily distracted, as are virtually everybody else who's been in his administration. So, what a mess. Surely you have something better for us, right, Minna?
No.
No.
But something different.
A different kind of bad.
A different kind of bad. Florida's insurance market, previously unstable, is showing signs of stabilization, but Hurricane Helen poses a significant threat with potential damages estimated between $3 billion and $10 billion. Insurance officials and government Ron DeSantis express confidence in the industry's ability to handle claims, citing recent legislative reform that improved financial stability. However, skepticism remains about whether enough has been done to support homeowners facing high rates. The storm's path could significantly impact areas like Tampa Bay, and its large size may cause widespread effects beyond the immediate landfall region.
You're from Florida. I hope everybody you know down there is okay. Is everybody okay?
Yes, fortunately, everybody that I know is okay.
Because this seems like a big storm and it was a big mess, and there were lots of pictures of lots of places submerged in water. Because I think the big damage from this storm was high water levels, some 10 to 15 feet above the normal level, and as the cameras go around under this morning with uh, in the light of daylight, we'll see more. I hate to turn everything into sort of a moralistic story, but hey, Ron DeSantis, climate change is real, and people aren't going to be able to afford to live in your state if people don't take it seriously, because the insurance company is just going to stop insuring people. You get a couple more of these things, and there's weird stuff happening in the weather all the time. A hurricane formed in the North Atlantic in the past couple of days, and it's heading for Ireland. I mean, that's that kind of. I don't think it's going to make it to Ireland, but the point is that kind of thing never happens. We're living in weird times. It's because of climate change. This is extreme weather, and we need to take this real seriously. And I think that the economic consequences for Florida go far beyond this one storm. Riley.
Well, another follow up to a story from yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has created tension with the U.S. over a proposed 21-day ceasefire in Lebanon after initially distancing himself from the initiative despite being involved in its negotiation. Under pressure from ultranationalist coalition partners, Netanyahu denied any private understanding with the U.S., which led to frustration at the White House. However, following tough meetings between Israeli officials and U.S. advisors, the Israeli Prime Minister's office later issued a statement acknowledging Israel's support for the ceasefire aims. The U.S. sees this as a walk back by Netanyahu and continues to push for the ceasefire while urging Israel to avoid further escalation.
Yeah. Well, we can always count on Prime Minister Netanyahu to do the right thing, right, Riley?
That's right, David.
Yeah, because he's a man who takes his public responsibilities very seriously. No, we can't. I'm deeply, darkly pessimistic about all of this. And you know, literally every country in the world is telling him it's time. But he has ignored every country in the world in the past. So uh, I hope that we get there. I hope there is not a massive ground invasion. I hear from friends in Israel who are having to get up in the morning and move their families into shelters to avoid potential attacks, uh, and uh, and obviously feel deeply for all the people who have lost lives in this, but and their families. But I got a feeling this this is just the new normal for Bibi Netanyahu, because he needs wars to stay in power. And that's not to absolve his neighbors of responsibility. He's taking advantage of the fact that there are threats that need to be taken seriously. Um, uh, the question, of course, is, do you have to approach them in the way that he is approaching them right now? And I think the answer to that is you don't. And it's time. It is time for a ceasefire, both on the north and in Gaza. it is time for diplomacy to take the wheel in this particular case. Uh, but I don't expect it anytime soon. Minute.
In her first interview in over 2 years, Melania Trump criticized Democrats and the media for creating a, quote, toxic atmosphere that she claims led to attempts on her husband's life. During her appearance on Fox News, she discussed learning about an assassination attempt against Donald Trump and expressed concerns about media's limited coverage of such events. While promoting her upcoming memoir, she reflected on her diminished public role in his campaign and addressed her past experiences as First Lady, asserting that she feels a responsibility to clarify her story. Despite her low profile, Melania defended her husband's leadership and noted that the country needs him now more than ever.
I don't know, how vile is Melania Trump? Is she as vile as Donald Trump? Is she as vile as Don Jr. and Eric? Um, yes, yes, she is. They are peas in
Seems
a
like it.
pod. There's nothing redeeming about this woman. She is humorless, intellectless, valueless, characterless, self-obsessed, and willing to spout utter nonsense about her husband, with from whom she is estranged in all but name, uh, for I think cash. I think this is just her job, and she gets paid a lot for it. Um, but the less attention that is directed in her direction, the better.
J.D. Vance, the vice presidential nominee, has publicly explained his shift from being a Trump critic in 2016 to a staunch supporter by 2020, attributing the change to Trump's achievements in office. However, private messages from 2020 obtained by the Washington Post revealed that Vance continued to criticize Trump's presidency, particularly regarding his economic populism and even predicting Trump's loss in the 2020 election. Despite these revelations casting doubt on Vance's account of his political conversion, his campaign maintains that his critique was aimed at establishment Republicans, not Trump himself.
Yeah, I mean, these people, he's like, well, Trump is America's Hitler. Yes, well, what I meant was establishment Republicans are really at fault here. It's like he hated Trump, and then he liked Trump because this is a guy who just tries to go where the power is and get his bread buttered and advance his sad career. Um, we can look forward next week on October 1st to him debating, um, somebody who spent his whole life in public service, Tim Walz, and it is going to be fake man of the people next to real man of the people, and I just don't think that's going to show off JD Vance very well. But I know many are a deep JD Vance fan, and uh, probably will wear your JD Vance T-shirt and.
Huge fan. I love people who order what makes sense at a donut shop.
Yeah, that's true. And what about people who don't think that women who don't have children should be able to vote?
Love that. Makes total sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to be real proud, Riley. Ohio
Yeah.
is the state of champions. I mean, you've also got a Senate candidate there who said women over 50 shouldn't care about abortion because they can't have children anymore.
I mean, I've got bad news for him about whether men should have opinions on abortion then, but that's another matter.
Great point.
Oh, gee, Riley, that is a great point.
Ohio's not sending their best anymore. I'm sad to say.
Well, I got to say, Sherrod Brown is good.
Yeah, he
Sherrod
is.
Brown should beat these people. Sherrod Brown is a hard-working senator who takes care of the people, speaks truth to power, is a good guy by all measures, and I hope he wins, as he has in the past. It's sort of the anomaly in Ohio. Every once in a while, you get somebody like that. Tim Ryan, he was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
There were, you know,
We had Marcy Kaptur win last time, despite being thoroughly redistricted to set up to fail, but she still won. So
well,
there's still a few Democrats
there are a
holding the
couple of
line.
Democrats, and some of those mayors probably are Democrats too, right?
Yeah.
Um, but uh, I was just looking at the TV, and there's one of these morning TV shows which I'm not going to talk about, and it's just basically a bunch of goofy looking white guys in suits, like on the screen. If you turn the sound off, it just doesn't look like people look anymore. It's you know what I mean. It's like it seems so, I don't know, seems so out of touch. Anyway, one thing we can look forward to today. I don't want to keep you too long, folks. You have things to do. It's a Friday. You've got to go out and get party supplies for your weekend.
And early vote.
And vote early and often. Well, early. But one of the things we have to look forward to today is apparently Trump is meeting Zelensky, even though he said he wasn't going to meet Zelensky. Because he said Zelensky had cast nasty aspersions on him, that he is going to go and meet with him. Now, he's already, sort of said he wants this war over. He could figure out how to make this war over and so forth. What he comes out of that meeting saying, is going to be one thing. And then the other thing is Zelensky, who just wants, to keep the money flowing and so forth, has got to know Trump's not going to do that for him. But what kind of bullshit is he going to come out saying, in order just to keep the door open, just in case Trump is the next president? It's going to be a kind of an awkward moment. As a foreign policy nerd, it's just the kind of thing I live for.
I can tell you exactly what Trump is going to come out of the meeting saying.
Oh, okay.
It was a beautiful conversation. We said many things. He's a beautiful man. Beautiful conversation.
Well, that's true. And then he'll probably say, the windmills are killing the birds. The things that he falls back on.
And then he'll probably say some things about like how immigration in America is terrible.
Yeah.
Even though it's totally unrelated to what he's talking about. And then
yeah, and then he'll say, and this little immigrant here, no, I don't know. Who knows what he'll say, but I'm looking forward to that. Unfortunately, you won't be able to hear us talk about that tomorrow because it's Saturday, and really there are limits to how many podcasts you should be listening to. We're very pro podcast here. We produce 15, 18 podcasts a week. But there are times in your life where you should talk to your families. Take out the earbuds. Stop listening to people. Stop letting people like Minna Stein pump ideas into your brain and have a life. Do things. Listen to the birds. But then Monday, come back and spend a couple hours every day next week listening to us as well. And you know what next week includes? And here's a prediction I can make with a high degree of confidence. It includes the beginning of October, which means the election, tick, 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 is just going to be a few weeks away. It'll be the beginning of the following month. Oh my goodness. Isn't that exciting? We
have an October surprise to look forward to.
Yeah, wow, always. And that's right. And who knows what that will be? And I'm sure the Russian intelligence community is busy cooking that up. What? Kamala Harris eats cats and dogs too? Oh my goodness! Here's deep fake video of it. Anyway, it being October brings us much closer, and frankly, it's a little nauseating. By the way, Riley, I know you're a watch aficionado.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the launch of the Trump watches?
No.
Well, let's Google that right in front of you because I think there's got to be one of those in your future.
Only $100,000.
What? For a watch?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's not unheard of in the watch world, but I can't imagine.
But for a Trump watch, please.
Yeah, I can't
And it
imagine the
says
Trump watch.
right? Like,
Okay, there is a $500 one. To be fair.
Oh, really? Huh. Well, I wonder.
I can't even find the website. Where are they?
He's trying to get his order in now.
Yeah.
Before they're all sold out.
Oh wow, that's a beautiful watch. That's definitely not just a Chinese-made watch that they've put
the
Trump's
word
name
Trump
on.
and plated gold. Wait, are you saying you think it's a shitty watch that is trying to scam a bunch of fucking idiots into getting?
I'm not gonna lie. When I opened the website, I thought the $100,000 watch was the $500 watch, and I was looking for the $100,000 one.
Yeah, it's not good. But you know what's going to happen is that some guy in some country, I'm not going to say what country, but there'll be some country out there, and he'll go, "All right, Mr. Minister, we will buy $1,000 watches as a way of supporting Trump," because that's what these things are. You know, foreign countries can go and buy an unlimited amount of these watches and donate to him and to his campaign in a way that they can't under normal campaign finance laws. You know, they're going to have to wait in line behind Riley because...
Yeah, I'm going to show up on Monday with one on each wrist.
That's a nice idea. That's a good look. You know, why people like watches, they should wear a few watches.
Yeah. I'll wear all of mine on one wrist on Monday for the audience.
So tune into the podcast on YouTube to see that.
Yeah, because
to see my review of the Trump watch.
Around here at Deep State Radio, everybody's got a few $100K in spending cash in their desk that they just go out and fritter away on, you know, Trump paraphernalia, or in Minna's case, J.D. Vance paraphernalia.
Yep.
She's bought some land in Appalachia that, you know.
Is that, I was wondering, what is JD Vance paraphernalia?
Yeah.
It's land.
Five signed copies of Hillbilly Elegy.
No, okay.
I saw, by the way, Elon Musk yesterday tweeted something because Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks and a billionaire, et cetera, from Shark Tank, has been very pro Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. And Elon Musk unironically, unself-awarely tweeted out something to the effect of, well, this just shows a billionaire can also be a moron. And I was like, oh, Elon.
Actually, that's very true. Not Mark Cuban, though.
It's like, oh, Elon, look in the mirror, brother. I love the fact that people, that Elon is such a genius, but the people get around his various Twitter algorithm trickery by, when they're condemning him, they refer to him as Leon, or Elbow, and they just don't refer to him as Elon. And so the scanners, the programs that look for and suppress tweets like that don't seem to work. At least that's the theory behind all that. All right. Well, Minna, we've lost Riley. He is seriously thinking, I want a Trump tourbillon watch.
That is exactly what I'm looking at right now.
Oh no.
I'm seeing how much they cost without the Trump branding.
It's like, I want to have one of these things.
My favorite part is on the back. There's a picture of him holding up his fist, but it looks like he's made out of melting wax. It doesn't really look like him at all.
But you mean, wait, on the back of the watch?
Yeah,
is the image of Trump,
it's like
after his ear was hit by a piece of flying dust?
But it looks like he's melting away in the etching.
Oh my God!
At least it's facing your wrist, so you'll never have to look at it.
I could just the next thing up for Trump, who's going to be desperate for cash because he's not going to win this thing, is going to be like, for $100,000, I will send you a piece of the ear that was hit by
That'd be awesome.
yeah, little Trump relics, like Saint, you'd have like Saint Ignatius's thumb or something in some
Yeah.
church someplace, and this will be. Wait, want to see it? I have a piece of Trump's ear hole from the time that a pebble hit him in the ear. Um, well, I just, I just, I just can't take it sometimes. Maybe I'll go back to sleep. But I've been really, really uplifted by having this chance to talk to you. And folks, listen to our other podcasts. We got more exciting podcasts coming today. I mentioned yesterday that we've got one coming on media criticism of campaign coverage. That one's going to actually go up later today. So listen to that. Listen to our other stuff from earlier in the week. And try to stay out of trouble this weekend. We hate having to go out and bail you guys out of jail. And that happens a lot. Minna gets a lot of calls over the weekend.
I'm very busy bailing people out.
I'm a Deep State Radio listener, and I'm in the slammer again. Minna, can you come get me? But we do it because we love you guys.
I say, of course, but I'm always disappointed.
Always disappointed in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Minna. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.